My favorite to-go episodes are ones where I get to report on something and give you guys some insight from what I'm hearing on some pretty big news. And here in this instance, that's exactly what we're doing. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers To Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/all Steelers talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they are set to play the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round, the first round of the AFC playoffs. And, well, everybody is talking about the weather and the issues and the spread and the momentum and Mason Rudolph and everything else. What they're not talking about, or at least weren't talking about until yesterday, was where the game was going to be played. Because like you, like me, we didn't think it was possible. We didn't think that anybody was sitting around thinking about, oh, well, it's going to snow in Buffalo. Therefore, the NFL is going to think about changing the location of the game. And they'll send them somewhere else. And who cares about home field advantage in the playoffs, right? Even in Buffalo, where home field advantage might be 60 inches of snow, right? Apparently, that was reported a real thought by the NFL. According to KDKA Radio, they have heard that there is a contingency plan for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Buffalo Bills matchup because of nasty weather and winds and snow and rain and lake effect that is going to make driving and conditions for the game rather miserable. And the NFL has considered, hey, maybe we should move the game. This is all the report. Well, that's not what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is that the NFL has no intentions of this, that the Steelers have not been informed of any contingency plan or any thoughts that the Steelers-Bills game will be moved, and the report says that the move would be to the Cleveland Browns Stadium, and that's where the Steelers' first away playoff game would be. But quite frankly, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers in general, and they send you to Cleveland, I don't know, but neutral site, maybe a little bit in advantage of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe a little bit of a home field advantage, even on the road for Pittsburgh, because, well, quite frankly, that's an AFC North team. And on top of that, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I'm pissed because I'm sitting around thinking, well, what if we get a home game? What if we make it to the AFC Championship game and, well, we got to play on a game that, I get it, it was 2 weeks ago, but that's a whole other week that we could have sat around and had a pristine field and had it set perfect for us. I don't know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But that was reportedly the contingency plan by the NFL. Again, a team spokesperson has told me that they are not aware of any change and that internally they have not been told of a contingency plan that they are considering moving the game to Cleveland. So, rain, sleet, snow, 60-mile-per-hour winds, doesn't matter. They're going to Buffalo. And from what I know, from what I've seen, I mean, I spent 2 years up there at school. I have plenty of friends from that area. I mean, plenty of colleagues from that area. Talked to some meteorologists up there over the last week trying to figure out when we should go, when is the best time to leave, when is the window of opportunity where you're not going to get blasted with snow or wind gusts or rain. And everybody says the same thing. It's going to take a lot of snow to shut this city down. A lot. And in a playoff game, they're not even worried about it because 70 inches of snow isn't going to happen during game time. And even if it did, the Buffalo Bills would look at that and say, well, we've been here before and the Pittsburgh Steelers have not. They're not going to shut it down. They're not going to move it. I'd be very surprised if in 24 hours from now, the NFL says, hey, halt, everybody cancel your hotel rooms that are non-refundable and head to Cleveland, where a home game for the Buffalo Bills now becomes a home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And quite frankly, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, at this point, you're hoping that it's in Buffalo. It works out so well for you for a team who has found their identity on the ground, for a team who is dealing with terrible weather the last couple of weeks, who played last week in what Najee Harris said was the worst weather he has ever played in. To come off of that and then go to a snow game in Buffalo, you're prepared. They've spent all week practicing at Acrisure Stadium to prepare themselves for nasty wind and cold weather. They're ready for this. The Steelers are built for a snow game. Everybody who's excited about a snow game in the playoffs should be, because the Steelers are a running football team right now with a hard-nosed defense, and the Buffalo Bills, they got a great running attack. I'm a big fan of James Cook. I'm a big fan of that offensive line. I'm a big fan of guys like Dawson Knox who could catch short passes and make big things happen, and I'm a huge fan of what the Bills can do. But Josh Allen is Josh Allen, and if you could eliminate any deep balls, if you could eliminate him and Stephon Diggs having a huge game, that works in the Steelers' favor every single time. And I asked Eddie Faulkner yesterday if there's a difference between playing in a monsoon and playing in a snowstorm, and he said, it kind of depends on who you ask, but they all have their challenges, but there's still a challenge. And then you look back at the tape, you look back at what Mason Rudolph was able to do. If you're able to whip a 15, 20-yard pass on a dime to Deontay Johnson in tight coverage over the middle in pretty much a tsunami, you're going to be all right in the snow. That's where the Pittsburgh Steelers are. They're not going to change this game, at least from what I've been told. There's no consideration of it. Anybody who's planning to go to Buffalo, who is excited to go to Buffalo, but who is worried that they're going to get snowed out and that they're going to have to change their plans and head to Cleveland. And if you're from Buffalo, I'm pretty sure Cleveland's, the other side of Erie. I get it, but still drive. A lot easier of a drive for Pittsburgh. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on where you live. Way less weather. I'd be pissed. I would not be happy about it if I'm the Buffalo Bills. Good thing it's not happening. Reports will continue to come out saying that it is. I get it. I get both sides of this. If you make a report, if you hear something, you're going to stand by your sources because you didn't just make that out of thin air. But I'm just saying that I've been told right from the team's spokesperson that as of this moment, there's no contingency plan that they know of that is being considered at this time. That could change, I guess, but for anybody who's planning the trip, who's gearing up for the snow, who's gearing up for the wind, I have heard Saturday is going to be nasty wind-wise, but you can make it to Buffalo. You just got to drive slow. You got to be safe. Sunday is going to be a little bit of a hit or miss, but coming home, I've heard that Sunday night, Monday morning, pretty much the same. So no need to rush yourself back to Pittsburgh if you've been drinking, hanging out, having a good time, because, we all like to be safe at All Steelers Talk. You can wait it out till Monday. It won't be a big deal, even though Buffalo is supposed to get hit with some snow next week as well. That's what I've been told. I know I'm not a meteorologist. I know that, I laugh. I've been laughing all week that I think meteorologists are the clickbait of the regular news station. It's what they are. Shout out to all my meteorologists who have been helping me throughout the week game plan for this trip. That's what I've been told. That's my plans. Just giving you guys some insight. If you're planning to go out there, don't be worrying about missing this game or having to change your plans to go to Cleveland, because as of right now, that's not happening.